Let's do this. Demonetized Central. In constant sorrow through his day, I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. I bid farewell to Philadelphia, the place where I was born and bred, the place where he was born and bred. Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a Gran Sole Minimum update. March 17th, Sunday, 1 a.m. Mountain Time. You're looking at epic flooding in Nebraska. On the Ash Fork River, Golden Fork, I don't know what the fork is. But the river that's supposed to be 80 feet wide is now 8 miles wide. And as predicted, the Mississippi will flood. I predicted 3 weeks ago the Quad Cities will be underwater. And we're about to check the models. Now, you can come check out this video, which has epic 1 hour video north of St. Louis. Upper Nebraska, the entire Mississippi Valley, flooding farms, taking names, and destroying towns. And we'll get to that. And we'll come back to the video. Keep comments, boom time. Pebble Creek, 339 inches of snow, breaks records. All-time records in Idaho. A recent storm deposited a final layer of powder to solidify the 2018-2019 ski season as the biggest snow year ever recorded in Pebble Creek since 1985. 330 inches fell. What the hell? It's global warming. It's the global warming goodness. It's the white stuff. Record-breaking snowfall month could help pull Oregon out of the drought and bury homes and break infrastructure. It's all your fault. The world is warming. Snow depth record for Bozeman, MSU. Now, harsh winter weather consumed the entire month of February and the first 11 days of March for Bozeman and most of Montana. This article focuses on the record snow depth. In fact, for over 14 days until March 11th, over 24 inches was in the valley in Bozeman, eclipsing the 2-day record set back in 1955. 2 days versus 14 days. We are in a very changing times, folks. Record snow hits Powderhorn and Highway 65. People are snowboarding on the interstate. No, they're not. But in Grand Junction, Colorado, record snows have happened. Staff says snow totals are at record highs. The resort has seen 9 inches of snow in the last 24 hours, stacking up 21 inches in the last 2 days. As of Thursday, it's a much different situation than the record low of last year. It's insane. It's insane. Record snowfall, historic bomb cyclone are now forcing people to leave their homes and be rescued. Devastating floods, blizzard warnings, epic runoff. Ow! I thought you said we're done with this. Oh, you have a mathematical equation? 6 billion square feet of Mother Earth cooled. All Earthlings wear my Gaia hat at $195 each. 2 for $20 if ordered now. The dynamic universal natural climatizer ending hot air temperature. So apparently they're buying your hats, Al. They're buying them. They've bought them. Yeah, that's what's happened. They bought Al's hat. But let's look at the facts.
Flood threat across the upper Midwest.
And do it down, because it's not looking good.
And what's being called the worst flooding in decades. Officials declaring a state of emergency there. Several bridges washed out, the combination of melting snow and drenching rains turning deadly. Residents on the roof there in the eastern part of the state lifted to safety. Our Sam Champion tonight with the very latest.
Tonight, rescues and evacuations in the heartland. Parts of Nebraska seeing the worst flooding in decades.
There goes the Mormon Canal Bridge right there. It just washed out.
Bridges collapsing, levees breaching, all triggered by rapid worst flooding in decades.
There goes the Mormon Canal Bridge right there. It just washed Goes the Mormon Canal Bridge right there. It just washed out.
Bridges collapsing, levees breaching, all triggered by rapid snowmelt and heavy rain while the ground is frozen or saturated.
It really is very dangerous. It's moving fast. It's cold water. You do not want to get caught in it.
This Black Hawk helicopter is dropping 1.5-ton sandbags to protect the city of Lincoln's Wells. Northwest of Omaha, the National Guard rescuing 4 people from this home surrounded by water.
Those
Friday.
sandbags are going to
While
work.
in Waterloo, the Elkhorn River topping 24 feet, breaking the record by more than 5 feet. The water claiming at least 1 life. 2 other people are missing in the state. Dangerous flooding extending all the way to Wisconsin. Northeast of Madison, first responders going door to door this week.
It's unbelievable. I just never expected it to be this bad.
Flooding so bad that in the small town of Columbus, more than
It's unbelievable. I never expected it to be this bad. Al Gore said that it was going to get hot and we were all going to burn up and it was going to be amazing. It was going to be like amazing situation. Let's come over to the USGS provisional data over at the Mississippi River in St. Louis. Now that plume up there in Nebraska is over. I just checked the USGS graphics. The flood peaked 2 days ago, which means it's coming to St. Louis. I've been through this before. I'm a geologist. I know exactly what geomorphologically is going to happen. And boom! I went and checked USGS, and here we are right now. It is at 50,000 cubic feet per second, up from 25,000, doubling the volume in 5 days. And we have just reached flood stage 3 hours before I started the video. St. Louis, Missouri is going to be in the news in the next 24 hours. People are going to, loss of life, major flooding, infrastructure, billions of dollars about to be lost. And this is moving downstream towards New Orleans. So we have multiple weeks of epic flooding ahead of us, all-time records, never seen before. Global warming and climate change, blah, 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 is going to be blamed for this. But it's record snows that are making this happen. Record North American snows. Nothing to do with global warming, nothing to do with the IPCC, nothing to do with Al Gore, nothing to do with anything related to global warming. Nothing. Everything to do with climate change that's natural and variable, and we're going into a grand solar minimum. We predicted this 3 years ago, happening this year, and it's happening. Imagine that. What we actually predicted is happening now. Oh my God, holy cow. Wow, deadly historic flooding swamps the plains, Midwest, Nebraska City cut off, bridges washed out, levees breached. This is happening now. More and more adding up, taking names, and this is headed. It's headed to St. Louis, where millions of people live. Millions of people in harm's way. Now, this is coming from a Nebraska farmer who called him to help out with his Mavic Pro to go look at this power outage. How are they going to fix that? They're not fixing that. That's not being fixed. They just know where the short is. Yeah, right there. This river is supposed to be 80 feet wide. It's now 8 miles wide. And it's headed towards St. Louis. All of this flooding, all of this water is going to get put back into the Mississippi River, and the levee system is going to contain it until the bulge breaks through the levee like it did here. Now there's a levee on the other side here, supposedly protecting towns, but towns are being evacuated because levees are breaking. They're breaking at record rates, unseen. I went and recorded this back in 1996. This happened back in 2010. Every solar minimum this happens, and now we're seeing a record solar minimum, the grand solar minimum, the eddy minimum, and it's only going to get worse. This year, next year will be worse. Are you picking it up? I can't even put it down any harder. It's going up. There's flood stage in St. Louis. Gauge height is now at 32 feet and rising. You think it's surprising? I doubt it. It is not leveled off. It's going up. The bulge is coming down to St. Louis. And how flooding will affect planning is a wait-and-see approach. And we'll wait and see. Record high water levels have already been recorded in rivers in Iowa, Nebraska. Water levels are high in northern Kansas, southern Wisconsin, headed south, headed to you in New Orleans. First, we have to hit St. Louis. Misery. The flooding puts the beginning of planting season in question. This year will be a notable flood year for much of the Mississippi, where all the food is grown. From an agricultural standpoint, we're fluxed! Thank you, Cosmic Rays. Thank you for mainstream media not telling you any of the facts, simply going on with the dialogue, saying you're going to burn up and it's all drought and you're never going to see water again. And that's what they told me over there at the IPCC. Livestock Indemnity Program, an option for ranchers after blizzard buries livestock. Where is Al Gore when you need him? Where are these people that are claiming we're all burning up when we're getting buried with snow? Record runoff, record melt, record torrential rains. All the droughts that were going to dry you up for the rest of your life are nowhere to be seen. We're looking at weather through the end of March. Heavy mountain snows will continue to contribute to the runoff. We're talking whitewater season that will kill thousands of rich idiots, thank God, that pay to actually be taken on the rivers to drown to death. I can't wait because the sheep need to be culled. Wyoming's going to cull some sheep as soon as they get in those river rafts. Utah, Idaho, say it ain't so. Record snow season in Idaho, that's the biggest whitewater river rafting center in America. You're going to see the most deaths in whitewater history this year in the western U.S. Mark my words. Heavy snow through the Sierras through March 26th. Can you say cement? All the way down here into the south towards Mexico. Ho, ho, ho! Santa's coming for spring. Seismic update. We have a moderate uptick. We're waiting for the big one. Big boom. Kicking off in Oklahoma. Thank God fracking. Another big boom in Utah. Thank you to fracking. Uptick on the San Andreas. Huge uptick in Indonesia. We're waiting to find it. Philippines. Ding joy. Let's check out where we're at. 7 days, 4.5 plus. And you can see the major uptick is west of us, not in the U.S. Thank God. You're either going to die in New Zealand, Indonesia, or China. But we're safe. Unless the new magic kicks off or Cascadia booms. But the uptick is not showing that. It shows the rest of the world is fluxed. Anything can happen, though, in a second. Including Bezamayani volcano erupting to 10 miles into the atmosphere. That's a stratospheric boom! Cooling the earth as we're talking. Explosive activity continues. Anchorage warned about a volcanic ash plume rising to 50,000 feet. We're going to look at it in replay. Again and again and again and again. And if you don't do a dab, then I don't know what you're doing for the next minute because I'm not talking. I'm totally turning the volume off and dab. That dab worthy. Now, I just want to bring you all back to reality. What you're looking at is one of the biggest eruptions, the highest eruptions to date over the last year, 50,000 feet. Is not to be, look at it. But on a scale of a whole, as the planet is concerned, this area that is covered by this eruption Let's just talk about it in chemtrail terms. If we were to buy enough planes to make this amount of stratospheric aerosols to create this plume, it would be probably 500 planes that cost $30,000 each to run to squirt this much into space, up in the upper atmosphere stratosphere. So let's say 3,000 planes at 30,000 per plane, 3 times 3 is 9, that's $90 million just to make this small plume, which would cover less than 1/100% of the entire surface of the atmosphere. In fact, it's 1/976,000th%. It's very small. It's so small, it's like one single ass hair. So for $9 million, you can cover one ass hair of the Earth. Now multiply that by 19 million. That is literally all the money that has ever been spent in human history for a single event, for a single chemtrail to cover the entire planet in one day. All the money on the entire Earth would have to be spent in one day that has ever been spent in human history, 10,000 years, just to cover the Earth in one day with chemtrails. And people are out there that think that's been going on for decades, all over the planet. Which would mean the entire amount of money ever spent, ever, in 10,000 years, is being spent every day for decades, somehow, while economies are working. Not only that, if you take all of the chemicals that are on the surface of the Earth, all of them, not just the ones you want for chemtrails, all of the chemicals that have ever been packaged and are ready for sale, and you put them up in planes, you would only cover 22% of the planet with all of the chemicals that are ready for use right now. Did you hear that? Because all I hear is crickets. I hear crickets. This single volcanic eruption is not even replicable by our geoengineering state right now. And geoengineering has been happening since the 1940s. Worldwide Volcano News Update. Agung, boom, boom. Popo, Katapeto, Bromo, Shivalush, Sabankaya. And we know. Shivalush blowing up to 12,000. Bromo, 10,000. And Bezamayani, 15,200 meters. That's 10 miles. 10 miles of smiles. Cooling the Earth, dormant viruses activated during spaceflight. You know what this means? Cosmic rays turn dormant viruses on. Game on. Holy sh! Links below. Huge meteor explosion over Earth last year went unnoticed until we decided to tell you. These fucking people. U.S. blocks UN resolution on geoengineering because they don't want to tell how much they're doing. The measure calls for you to actually tell them what you're doing. And we blocked it. Yeah. A strange sleeping magnetar just woke up after decades of silence. Now, after 10 years, this Class 3 alien race is now being reported on again. So, alien disclosures coming soon. The U.S. government has had in its presence aircraft from alien races for 7 decades. 8 decades. Spin frequency evolution and pulse profile variations of the recently reactivated radio magnetar XTEJ1810-197. Thank you, L. Levine, AJ Lynn, G. Desavignon, R.P. Eaton, R. Karupsamy, Kramer, Stapers, and Weldervid. After spending almost a decade in radio quiet state, the anomalous X-ray pulsar XTEJ1810-197 turned back on December 2018. Where's SETI when you need him? We're about to turn on some radio telescopes to kick ass and take names. Now, Opportunity's final image is a haunting panorama of the Martian surface. Now, if you want to be real clear, Rex Bear and I were just here. Canyonlands much? Are you kidding me? What are these marks here? What are these lateral marks? What is going on here? Is this like big four-wheel drive alien vehicles just like turfing up the Canyonlands? Because when I was in Moab, nothing but UTVs. Are those alien UTVs? France's yellow vests clash with riot police in Paris. Water cannon and tear gas deployed. The end is near. The beginning is afoot. Keep going. We love you. Now, Rex and I were just here at the Birthing Rock, which is in the middle of nowhere. And we noticed these petroglyphs here that we've seen other places. And I've been studying this for almost, now we're approaching, I hate to say it, 4 decades. But Rex and I have traveled throughout the Southwest over the last year. Multiple localities. As far south as Albuquerque. As far southwest as Phoenix. Southwest Arizona. And now all the way up north near Moab. To see some of the oldest archaic petroglyphs. Some of the oldest art on the planet known. And we took a side trip to Moab to see some more recent art from the Fremont people. Now, the Fremont were around here from about 2,000 years ago to about 500 years ago. And this is their work. And we were trying to put it together. And this is called the birthing stone because of this particular petroglyph here. Very unique with the big nugget under the legs of this humanoid figure. But this is really the most important glyph here because this is a Parat instability. Now these have been made in the lab right here in Los Alamos. Here's the experiment. Here are the associated glyphs. Here's Utah. But there's multiple forms because it changes with voltage. Here's the conceptual geometry. Notice the bends down low. There's weird bends down low. And let's look at the glyphs. Look at where the bends are here down low. This cannot be a coincidence. This is science. This is ancient art. This is science. This is ancient art. This is science that we're doing now, ancient art, and these are unexplainable to scientists. I'm a scientist. It's totally explainable. I'm explaining it. Why aren't you listening? Oh, because you're a fraud and you need funding. And no one will fund you for the truth. Check out the ram we found on top of Jacob's ladder. Again and again. I wonder what the ram means. Whoa! I wonder if the ancients actually saw Aries in the sky. Right here. Above the North Pole when the plasma discharge was occurring. I wonder if that's what they were trying to tell us. Because we've proven it in a lab that that's what happens. And they've proven it in their art because that's what they wrote. They didn't make this up. This is not a centipede. This is a plasma discharge feature emanating from the North Pole. When you increase the aurora 1,000 times, you get visions. I'm sick of the frauds. I'm about to publish a paper linking these things that Rex and I just found. And the reason is because moments after we went out there, March 11th, Live Science published a mainstream article depicting a proton storms that occurred 650 BC and 745 AD. 775. I'll leave you links to the article. I'll also leave you links to the paper that the article was written from. Multi-radionuclide evidence for extreme solar proton events at 1260-10 BP, which is 660 BC, as well as 775 AD. These were 100 or 1,000 times greater than the Carrington event, which would have changed history, changed the climate on Earth forever, killed millions of people, created new religions, and erased history. And I can prove it to you. Velikovsky talked about the destruction by Mars, 650 BC. In mainland Greece, 150 cities existed before the 8th century. There were only 13 cities at 650 BC. That means 92% were destroyed. We're putting these pieces together. This is ongoing. This is like a week old. And pricks like this make money on nonsense. We make $0 on truth. The benefit for humanity is epic. What we are teaching. Please teach the masses what we're telling you. The facts are in. Mainstream science is a fraud. The ancients knew what was going on, and we're telling you what they were telling us. When Aries was in the north, shit hit the fan. Now, I went a little deeper, and some more interesting facts are coming out. Take a look at this. 650 BC, the actual time period of the Trojan War, according to Alan Watson. We just saw this 2 weeks ago in the Northern Hemisphere. This is the new Trojan War. In Greek mythology, the Trojan War was waged against the city of Troy by a mythic horse of epic proportions that distracted the masses and allowed the city to be breached. If this was in the night sky, don't you think everyone would be looking up and you could easily sneak in? I think I just rewrote history. The Charlemagne event, 774 AD, was caused by a solar storm. This event caused Christianity to bloom and you to be a slave. Can you imagine what we're... Is your mind blown? This guy's mind was blown. I could take a wallet right out of his pocket, all of his clothes off, and he would still be looking up. I think I just figured out the Trojan War. There's the Trojan horse. We just saw him last week. What's coming? Certainly a war. And definitely not Jesus. But you're going to need some mitigating properties to mitigate this radiation that's coming in from the solar system, from the universe. And that's shungite. I'm going to leave you links to what shungite water is and how to make it. We're going to have all the ingredients at LeeCon, and we're going to give it to each and every person that's there. They're all going to ingest buckyballs, Buckminster fullerene, C60. The Radical Gardener got demonetized or removed from YouTube and Facebook in the last week because she talked about C60. That's how powerful shungite is. Shungite life, I live it. I have 3 pounds of elite shungite powder, 3 pounds of elite shungite rock, all available at LeeCon. I'm going to be giving it away below cost. because my subscribers have donated to the depths of their heart, I'm going to give it all back. You all get it back. Free cannabis seeds. Over 1 million I've put in small jars. 50 seeds per jar. Small packets, 10 per packet. Free to give away. Shungite powder, shungite rock, all elite specimens from a fellow geologist. I wouldn't want it from anyone else. These fullerenes are healing. Not only that, they're antioxidants. They can capture radioactive isotopes. The healing potential is unlimited. And we'll teach you how to make shungite powder to cleanse skin ailments. Now, hexagonal water is also considered a fraud from the mainstream. Just like they put the global warming warning underneath the Wikipedia. Hexagonal water, known as structured water. Rex Bear and I are going to go up to the Continental Divide, 1 mile from the source, and collect structured water and mix it with shungite rock. And we'll have it available at LeeCon for you. That's insane. I know, we're going to do it. And you'll be able to drink Buckyball, Buckminster Fullerene C60 in structured water at LeeCon. What other conference offers you that? Certainly not the conference that just figured out what the Trojan War is. Are you picking it up? We're putting it down. Just like the ancients. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We're not here to scare you. We're here to blow your mind and prepare you. We love each and every one of our Patreons. The science is getting deep. Rex Bear is going to be a co-author on my next scientific paper, which will be published on ResearchGate for peer review. For all the masses that can kiss my asses. See you at LeeCon. Be safe. And that's a boom.